Hi, my name is Jennifer Hudak, and I'm your child's teacher for English 2 American Literature. I'm very excited to have the sophomores this year because I love to teach American literature. We cover a number of short stories, novels, plays. I think plays are especially great in this hybrid environment that we have right now because through Google Meet, it allows the students to see each other, to interact with each other. I had seniors last semester. We read Hamlet together. I was able to assign parts to the students at home, parts to the students who were in school. And through Google Meet, we were able to read to one another and interact with one another. And I think in this time, the students really need to socialize. So it's nice that they get to see each other. So we're reading plays, we're reading short stories, as I said. We will be writing, analyzing literature, of course. The focus is textual. We do read quite a few texts in class. One is The Crucible, which is a play. As I mentioned, we'll be reading that. We will also be reading The Great Gatsby, which is one of my favorites. We will be reading that after The Crucible. I tried to go in chronological order because I like to teach the students about the time period, about what's going on historically at the time. So right now we are reading some short stories, some Native American literature. From there, we will move on to The Crucible, which, even though it was not written until the 1900s, it talks about the time period during the 1600s. So we actually read that as our first real piece of literature. After that, I jump ahead a little bit and we read Gatsby, which is, of course, the 1920s. From there, we talk about the Great Depression, and then we read Of Mice and Men. And after that, we do another play because, again, I enjoy doing plays with the students, A Raisin in the Sun. So in between, we'll be reading some poetry. We'll be reading some short stories. The students will be creating a research project. So my plan for that is to have them, after reading a few pieces of literature, I will give them some prompts and they will have to do some outside research. So we'll be doing that as well. That'll be a research writing project. I also like to do a lot of projects. I'm probably doing more projects now than I've done in the past, just because, again, I think it gives the students an opportunity to interact with one another. So I right now am assigning a small, I'm going to call it a mini project because it's only for a few days that the students will be working on it. But we just finished reading The World on the Turtle's Back, which is a creation myth. So I'm assigning the students each a creation myth to research, and then they're going to compare the two. They're going to do a little mini presentation, either via video or in person. I have to figure that out. I have to tweak that a little bit because, again, in this hybrid environment, some of the lessons do need to be tweaked so that everyone can feel like they're involved. I never want anyone to feel like they're home and they're not a part of the class. So I do meet through Google Meet every day. Google Classroom is the way that I communicate with the students. Every morning by 7 a.m., I have our assignments posted. So they always know. I tell them whether you're in school that day, you're virtual that day, you're homesick that day, you always know what we're doing. And I never delete anything from Google Classroom. So they can always go back and see what they missed. I post any PowerPoints that we go over in class. I post any handouts that we have. I have hard copies of handouts I give out to students in class, but then I also post them as well in Google Classroom. So they never have a reason to not know what's going on, and they never have a reason to not feel involved. So just a little bit more information about me. Some of the things that I feel are important is to be available to the students. I do offer extra help. I'm available really anytime. During lunch, they can come see me, or they can even make appointment via Google Meet to meet up with me during lunch, and we can meet that way. We can meet after school. I am, here physically in the school, and they can meet up with me during lunch. So I'm always available for extra help. So I encourage them, please let me know. I'm approachable, and I'm certainly accessible. Just finally, I want to just talk about how I grade. Again, I said projects would be a big part of the grade this year because I do plan to do more than usual. So projects, tests, and essays. Sometimes in lieu of a test, I'll do an essay for the students. I'll have them write an essay. We do have quizzes, weekly vocabulary quizzes. I think vocabulary is very important, and I like them to start thinking about the SAT and the ACT test, because even though it's still a year before they start thinking about college, it's going to go quickly. So I like to prepare them for that. We have homework, classwork, not every night, but we do have homework probably 2 or 3 times a week. And then I do grade them on participation. So as long as they're here, I tell them, you all start out with 100. As long as you're here doing what you're supposed to do, you're going to get that 100 for a participation grade. So I'm looking forward to a fun semester with your child. Please contact me if you have any questions. Thanks.